Hi, and welcome to another narration presented by yours truly, Cryptidsroost. Let's just take a moment's silence for all the haters, Karens, and the trolls. That's enough. Be sure to check out the blooper reel at the end of the video, which is then followed by the end screen, where you will find more videos listed. Don't forget to hit the like button and drop a comment for the algorithm. It would be very much appreciated. So grab your coffee, sit back and enjoy the show. And don't forget, where fear is, happiness is not. iPhone from Hell, Part 2. This awesome series is written by R2B Eating You. I immediately gained composure of my laughter when I saw Ali's name flash across the screen. Answering abruptly, I said, "Hey Ali Cat." My words strolled off as I could hear her sobbing profusely on the other end. "Johnny, I need you to come get me from the police station." Ali sobbed into the phone. "Ali, is everything okay? Are you alright? You're not in any trouble, are you?" I began to question her. "No, John, I'm not okay. Derek's dead," Alison blurted out. "Oh my God, Ali, I'm so sorry to hear that. What happened?" I asked, knowing I was the cause of his demise. "The police are saying it was an accidental death. They assume he fell asleep sometime late last night or early this morning with a lit cigarette. The cigarette managed to set the couch on fire and the rest of the house burnt up soon after, John." Ali's voice and tone began to calm after talking to me. "No, not the house. That was our childhood home. I had so many good memories in that house." I began to sob. "I'll be on my way in just a few minutes, Ali. Stay put and don't go anywhere. I'll be there as soon as I can." On the drive to the police station, I had started to reminisce on the good times and the bad that we had in that house. The amount of trouble me and Alison used to get into in that house was abundant, but we were just kids after all. Once the police station was in sight, I quit reminiscing on the past and started to form a plan in my head to cover my tracks in case the police had any questions for me regarding Derek's passing. I got out of my car and proceeded to the front entrance of the police station. Before I could even make it halfway up the steps, Ali was heading out the door and grabbing me as she began to cry profusely into my shoulder. The only thing I knew to do in that moment was tell her that everything would be okay. I could tell by the look on Ali's face that she really needed me this time. After helping Ali into the car, we sat there for a minute while she calmed down. She began crying. "John, there's nothing left. The house is just a pile of burning wood and ash at this point. I don't have any clothes, pictures, or anything. The fire took everything from me, including my husband." I started up the car and headed into town so we could go about buying stuff for my baby sister. After all, the only person she had now was me. That meant I had to take care of her and make sure she never found out the truth of how Derek actually died. Upon arriving at the mall, Ali turned to me and said, "John, what are we doing here?" "Well, Ali Cat, I'm trying to be a responsible big brother for once, and I know the fire took everything, so we're here to do some shopping and get you some clothes." "Don't worry, Ali, it's on me. You're not paying for anything, sis," I said while smiling at her. "Oh, and by the way, don't worry about the house or trying to find a place. You can stay with me as long as you need." Ali smiled at me before saying, You're the best big brother a girl could ask for. I just want you to know that, Johnny. If it wasn't for you, I don't know where I would be right now. I just hugged her as tight as I could and said, "Thanks, Alley Cat." "No, Johnny, I really mean it. If it wasn't for you, I don't know where I would be. After Mom and Dad died, you stepped up and filled their shoes. You made sure that I wouldn't be taken into the system. You even started taking night classes just so you could make sure I was going to school. You even went out and got a part-time job just to make sure there was a roof over my head and food in my belly. And for that, John, I owe you my life. I just want you to know how much I appreciate you. And I want you to know that you mean the world to me." Ali sobbed into my shoulder. "Ali, there's no need to thank me for any of that. I did what I was supposed to as your older brother. After Mum and Dad's accident, I had to step up and become the man of the house," I said in air quotes. "I was there for you then, and I'm here for you now, Alley Cat. No matter what happens, past or present, I will always be there for you," I said, sobbing as we walked into the mall. After the grueling day shopping, we headed back for the apartment, ready to relax. We unwound by sitting on the couch, ordering pizza and drinking a few beers, while watching the latest episode of Family Guy. I hadn't realised it until this point. The only phone call I received all day was that from Ali. For the first time since I bought this phone, I hadn't received a call from Beelzebub. I turned to Ali as I stood from the couch, almost falling over due to the amount of alcohol I had consumed. "It was good hanging out with you today, sis, but it's getting late and I'm already feeling a little tipsy, so I'm going to call it a night. Love you, Alley Cat." "Do you think you can make it to your room, mister?" Ali said in a sarcastic tone that reminded me so much of our mother. "Yes, Mom, I'll be fine. I'll see you in the morning." My words began to slur as I walked towards my room. The next day at exactly 8 in the morning, I was awoken by a knocking on my door. It took me a few minutes to rouse myself from bed, as I could feel the onset of a slight hangover. I slipped into my slippers and proceeded to the front door, annoyed at the fact that whoever it was hadn't stopped their incessant knocking. Aggravated at this point, I began to mumble to myself, "Who the hell could it be at the door this early on a damn Sunday?" Feeling my head begin to pound, I swung the door open and angrily muttered, "This better be important." "Hello, sir. Sorry to disturb you this fine morning. Jonathan, I presume? Correct me if I'm wrong," the man said softly. I took a second, looking him over. He was a muscular man. I would say he was in his mid to late 30s, approximately 6 foot tall, clean shaven, and wearing a pressed button-down suit. "Yeah, you would be correct. I'm Jonathan. But look, if you're here to preach to me about why I need to repent for my sins and come to church, you're better off knocking on someone else's door, pal," I said with a tinge of bitterness in my tone. "Oh no, sir. I'm the person Mrs. Suravong hired to replace her as acting manager while she's gone. My name's Flynn Coulihan, but you can call me Flynn," he said in a slight British accent. "Wait, what did you say?" I asked in a confused state. "I'm the man she hired to replace her." I was deeply disturbed when I heard those words leave his mouth. I spoke up, asking, "What do you mean, while she's gone?" I inquired about the job listing that she had posted in yesterday's paper for an acting manager / superintendent. She told me over the phone to be here this morning at 5 so she could show me around and give me the keys. After that, I believe she was headed for the airport where a plane would be leaving for Thailand. Flynn continued on by saying, "She did mention to me that you had a leak in your bathroom before she jumped in the cab. If you would like to show me where that is, I'll go ahead and take a look at it." As we headed towards the restroom, the lawyer in me came out and I began questioning Flynn inquisitively. "You said that Mrs. Suravong was leaving for Thailand this morning? How can that be if her husband's murder is an active case? Isn't it illegal to flee the country?" "Yeah, she was headed to Thailand to be with her family in her time of grieving. Her husband's murderer actually turned himself in yesterday. Believe it or not, but she told me the guy actually lived here," Flynn said as he proceeded to look at the pipes. "I can actually go ahead and fix this right up for you. The only issue here is you have a rubber grommet that has worn away over time. I'll run downstairs to the office real fast and grab my tools and get you all set up, John." "Wow. Geez, thanks Flynn. It's been leaking for roughly 6 months now, and I didn't think it would ever be fixed. You know what, after you get it done, we can go ahead and have a beer and I'll introduce you to the rest of the neighbours," I said as Flynn headed back down the stairs toward his office. After taking care of the leak, I showed Flynn around a little better. He did have a couple of questions he wanted to ask Mrs. Suravong before she left, but he didn't get the opportunity, so I went ahead and took the liberty of answering them so he would be more informed. Rent is due the 1st of the month, every month. The only exception is Ms. McDowell in 1B, because she doesn't get her social security until the 3rd of the month. Let's see, other than that, trash pickup is every Thursday and the mail is delivered to our boxes in your office. Unless it's from either FedEx or Amazon, then they will come to our door, I explained to Flynn as we walked around the complex. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. "Yeah, just one. We still good for that beer?" Flynn said without hesitation. "Absolutely. I should still have a couple of cold ones left in the fridge," I said as we headed back towards my apartment. Upon entering my apartment, Flynn took a seat at the island counter that connected the kitchen and living room. After handing Flynn an ice cold beer, he looked at me and said, "I wouldn't mind getting to know each of the residents a little better. So John, what is it you do for a living?" "Actually, I'm a lawyer. I actually just got a huge promotion to lead defense attorney for a little company known as the White Horse Law Firm. Maybe you've heard of us?" I said in confidence. "Wow, congratulations. That must be a huge step up in that kind of cutthroat business," Flynn said as he began to applaud. "Will you please shut the hell up, Jonathan? I'm trying to sleep off my hangover," Ali said furiously as she stormed into the front room, wearing only my old Harvard hoodie as pyjamas. Wiping her eyes, Ali realised there was another man in the apartment with me. "Oh my god! What the fuck, Johnny? You could have told me we had company," Ali screamed as she took off running back down the hall. "So, I assume that must be your wife," Flynn said as he chuckled. "Why would you assume I'm married?" I asked. "Oh, I just figured that since you have a ring on your finger, that you would be married. And I don't see how a pretty woman like that could be single," Flynn said honestly. "Oh, this thing? No," I said while spinning my wedding band around my finger. "I just recently got divorced. We were married for so long that I keep forgetting it's even on my finger. Looking back across the counter at Flynn, I continued on by saying, "That crazy woman you just saw go running down the hall just so happens to be my baby sister. I know she's not on my lease, but she's going to be staying with me for a little while since her house burned down." Oh shit. I think I saw that on the evening news last night. They said a man lost his life in that fire, Flynn said in a sad tone. That's right. She lost everything. The police are saying her husband, Derek, fell asleep with a lit cigarette, and the fire grew out of control before the fire department could contain it. It hit us both hard, honestly, because that was the house we were raised in, I said as I started to tear up. I'm so sorry to hear that, John. If there is anything I can do, please let me know. Your sister can stay as long as she needs. Don't worry about that. I understand sometimes life can be cruel, Flynn said as he stood, reaching his hand out, shaking mine. Thanks for the beer and the chat. Maybe we can do this again sometime. That would be nice. Feel free to stop by anytime. There's always at least one cold beer in the fridge, I said as I walked Flynn to the door. And I hope you enjoy the blooper reel. In case the police have my... After all, the only person she has now... If it wasn't for you, I don't know what... My words began to slur as I... As we headed towards the restroom, the lawyer in me came out and I began asking... Hey family, please be so kind as to throat punch the like button and smack the ass of the subscription button as well. And remember to chokehold that notification bell and then select all. That way you'll receive all notifications each time I upload a new video. And by subscribing, you'll be the first to see all of our new spooky creepypasta stories. A very big thank you to R2B Eating You for allowing me to narrate this awesome story. Make sure to check out their Reddit page for more brilliant stories as well. And be sure to take a look at their playlist here for more of their stories that I may have already narrated. I would just like to say a very big thank you to all of the authors that I have worked with and all the ones that I will work with in the future. So thank you all, my brothers and sisters. And why not hashtag cryptidsroost in your comments. A quick thank you to all of my Cryptids Roost community family too. We are now well on our journey to 1000 subscribers. So please spread the word and help us to grow and expand. And don't forget to share the videos too. If you would like to throw me $1 or $3, I'd be very much appreciative. I do have PayPal, paypal.me/cryptidsroost. Alternatively, I have an account at buymeacoffee.com. You don't even need to register on either site to donate. You can also follow us at our Facebook group, Twitter and Instagram. I also have Ko-Fi and BitChute. I have a subreddit if you have a story you would like me to read for you. All relevant links will be below, and don't forget to check out the end screen, see above. That will also list some more videos in my back catalogue. Take care everyone, and I hope you all have a wonderful and peaceful night. And don't forget, where fear is, happiness
is not.